Hi everyone. So I have a daughter with ADHD, and I've learned a lot of stuff about ADHD over the last year to 2 years. One of the things I want to talk to you about today is something I call the dopamine dump. And essentially ADHD, people with ADHD have low levels of dopamine, but there are times when their dopamine really slumps. And I've noticed it tends to happen for my daughter around the afternoon. But it can, honestly, that dopamine slump can happen at any time. When I see it, so me and her will be playing Legos, for example, and she'll start out doing really well, but then she will get to a point where I almost see her brain kind of scramble. And you know how Legos, you're not really supposed to strong arm the Legos. Really, if you place it well, it just gets on the Lego, and it's not supposed to be a hard thing. It's just a lining up situation. So when her frame of mind is in a more a higher level of dopamine, essentially she's able to kind of slowly and meticulously put the Legos on. But when she hits her dopamine slump, she'll start getting frustrated, or she'll be trying to strong arm these Legos, and I'll say hey, you need to it's about lining it up, but she'll be too frustrated. She won't be able to stay focused, essentially, and then that's that dopamine slump. So there are different things that you can do for your kid or for a friend or whoever when they're having that dopamine slump. What I have her do is we notice it and we'll be like, oh, hey, Olivia, why don't you go take a run? And so I chase her around the house. And of course, when they're in the dopamine slump, they don't want to listen to you. They're frustrated and frazzled. She's like, no, I don't want. So of course, the thing they need, they're going to fight you on, because they're actually physiologically in a space of agitation. I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels, ugh. The way you can see this in other people or in other kids, for example, is when a kid starts irritating or annoying somebody, they don't know it, but subconsciously or in their brain, they're needing a dopamine hit. And so what happens when you poke and prod and annoy somebody? You get a reaction, and that reaction impacts that dopamine. It gets them the high that they need. That's why when you have one kid with ADHD, sometimes they're constantly picking on or annoying their brother or sister. It's because they need the dopamine high. That's what they're seeking, that they can't communicate to you. They're a child and one, it's a really weird process to explain, even if you're an adult, right? So what they need is a way to hijack that dopamine center in a more productive way, so they don't ruin their sister's life or ruin your life, for example. And again, they're not doing it intentionally. I need you to understand these are just things they're doing. That's why the class clown, for example, with ADHD, essentially makes a joke that disrupts the class, because the laughter gives them that, I get attention, I got the excitement. So yes, it's attention seeking, but it's not as much about attention as it is about needing a dopamine high and a dopamine boost. So when you see these behaviors in your child with ADHD, you need to come up with strategies to give them that dopamine boost and to teach them how to do it for themselves. In my situation with my daughter, when she has it and she's doing her Legos, I say, let me chase you. And I do have to push past her initial, I don't want, blah, 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 and then we eventually do it. We run, and then it's crazy. It's like a reset. And she is present again, and then she does her Legos. Over time, the more you do some kind of dopamine hit like that with her, she's actually started to tell me, Mom, I need to run. She's learning this skill for herself. So there's more than just running, but running and some kind of physical exercise is one way to get the dopamine hit. Laughter or making a really weird joke is one way to get the dopamine hit. Another one, actually, movie previews. This one's interesting. So you know how a movie preview is in a world, and they build up all this energy. They're essentially hitting your dopamine receptor so that you're oh, I want to see that in 2 minutes, and they do it. So even using a movie preview, and then telling them, okay, I need you to do your homework. And then once you finish your homework, we can watch more of that movie. That's the dopamine hit they need to get the energy and motivation to do the thing they need to do. So I am imploring all you parents who have children with ADHD to learn as much as you can about the dopamine center and learn how to hijack it, because that's what I'm teaching you, is how do you hijack the dopamine center so that your kid can be the most functional they can be. So if you want to learn more, please submit a contact form at therapistsinstlouis.com and like and subscribe for more information.